Today we'll be learning how to play the kalimba. The kalimba is an easy-to-play instrument that originates from Africa. Commonly made of wood, kalimbas have long metal rods that are capable of playing high-pitched notes when plucked. Before you play the kalimba, we have to make sure that it's properly tuned. Most of the time, when you buy your kalimba, it comes to you already tuned. That means that you don't need to do any kind of tuning and are able to play your kalimba right away. But if you feel like your kalimba is out of tune, then I have a separate tuning video in the description, which you can check out. Once your kalimba is tuned, then let's start. Starting with the first step, how to properly hold your kalimba. Place your thumbs on top of the kalimba with the rest of your fingers wrapping around it, like this. You can also place the kalimba on a flat surface for you to be able to play with the rest of your fingers, like this. This allows you to play more complex songs because you are able to use your other fingers to hit the other notes at the same time. It is important to note to not cover the two holes at the back of your kalimba because your kalimba won't sound right. Next, let's produce a sound. Hit a tine with your thumbnail like this. The tine should vibrate after you flick it. Practice hitting the tine with your nail until it resonates. When you're first starting off playing, your thumbs may get a little painful, especially as a beginner who plays and practices the kalimba for hours. But worry not, because eventually your thumbnails will get used to this. For people who can't grow their thumbnails, then there's an easy solution for this. There are these accessories called Alaska picks, which you can purchase in your music store or order online. On to the next step. Alternate between both thumbs for progression. Unlike a piano, the kalimba notes alternate, fanning out from the center of the instrument. With this in mind, let's do our first warm-up basic exercise. First, we'll need a metronome. You can purchase one from a music store or download an app on your phone. I'll link the metronome app I'll use in the description. Set your metronome at 4/4 measure and 100 beats per minute. Using the metronome as a guide, let's go up and down the C major scale. First, let me show you how it's done. Let's start. This basic warm-up exercise is great for you to get comfortable with the kalimba. Going up and down the scales help you identify the notes easier, close to each other, and alternating as well. Let's try our second warm-up exercise by playing with the octaves. Let's start with finding the C, which is the longest tine in the middle of your instrument. Now find the C one octave higher. This can also be identified with a single dot on top. So the C in the middle and the C on top. So play this both together. Let us try our second warm-up exercise by playing the octaves. Set your metronome at 4/4 measure and 80 beats per minute. First, let me show you how it's done. Let's start with exercise number 2. This is a great thing to practice because most songs require this kind of knowledge, and it will also help you easily identify similar notes on the kalimba. Combine single notes and chords to create your own song. One great way to understand this is through arpeggios. An arpeggio is a chord or a group of notes played a single note at a time. Most songs use this kind of pattern, so you will encounter this a lot throughout your kalimba journey. Here is an example of a C major arpeggio. Starting from the lower note, C. Do you remember the last exercise? C and 1 octave higher C. Now just hit the 2 tines next to it. And lastly, the higher C. Now go back down. Now that is an arpeggio. For the final exercise, we'll be playing the arpeggios. Set your metronome at 3/4 measure and 100 beats per minute. First, let me show you how it's done. Let's start with the final exercise. These exercises are a nice way to introduce yourself to the kalimba and get comfortable with the times. Beginners will need time to get used to the placement of the keys and get comfortable with the kalimba, so it's important to practice a lot to improve your kalimba playing. I'm the kind of person who likes to take up new challenges, and that's why I've always been fascinated with learning new instruments. But sometimes along the way, I get discouraged because I don't feel like I'm improving enough or that the instrument is a bit too hard for me. And that's why the kalimba is such an amazing instrument, because I've never felt that frustrated and intimidated like other instruments. But what I discovered throughout my kalimba journey is that it's difficult to find kalimba classes or lessons that are formatted for step-by-step learning. Along the way, I would pick up songs that required a certain skill level, and it would have saved me a lot of struggle if I knew that this song needed more experience. I remember I needed a whole month to learn just one song.
So it gave me an idea to fill that gap, so that kalimba learners like you and I have a place to get structured kalimba classes that's accessible for everyone. What I made is a collection of songs on the kalimba, arranged in order so you know where you can start and then improve your playing as you progress to the next one. This way, there's no need to jump from an advanced song to a beginner one to an intermediate one. I've designed these free lessons to make up a full course to help you progress step by step from being a beginner to an advanced player. On top of these free lessons, there are free guides and other more resources like sheet music, ebooks, and music tabs to support your learning. And if learning by yourself isn't your style and you learn best with a teacher, I now host live classes for kalimba beginners. There are so many good things that come from learning the kalimba. That's why I wanted to share these great experiences I've had learning this instrument by making it as easy as possible for anyone to learn.
This community I built for everyone who love the kalimba like I did has all the resources you need to get started and be great at it. So I hope you decide to take this new and exciting journey with me. Thank you for watching.
It's really easy to get confused when you're buying a kalimba for the first time. And I know that for some people, it's important to get as much value for their money and to make sure they are going to get the kalimba that can fit their needs. Today, I'm going to help anyone out there trying to figure out what kalimba they should buy. So let's start. How serious are you? Deciding on what kalimba you should buy and how much money it will cost is the same with anyone who is deciding to buy any other musical instrument. It will depend on how serious you are in playing it. A violin player learning violin as a beginner will have a different violin to someone who plays for an orchestra. So for kalimbas, it will follow the same logic. So the first step for deciding on buying a kalimba is to know if you're going to play it as a hobby, or to make music like recording cover songs, or to just test it out to see if the kalimba is the instrument for you. Your intentions for your kalimba music journey greatly affects the money you will potentially invest. What kind of songs will you play? One other factor for your budget is what kind of songs you will play on the kalimba. Different songs have different complexities, and sometimes the arrangements of certain songs is better when played on certain kinds of kalimbas depending on how many keys it has. 8-key kalimbas can only carry limited arrangements and are best suited for simple songs like nursery rhymes. The most popular one is the 17-key kalimba, which can carry simple to moderately complex arrangements like pop songs, while 21-key kalimbas and above can carry moderate to complex arrangements like classical music, for example. There are kalimbas that have different numbers of keys too, and even where they are placed. But these kalimbas are reserved for more experienced players or any beginner with a really strong determination. Acrylic, hollow, or flat board? The biggest thing that confuses people is deciding between acrylic, hollow, or flatboard kalimbas, which are the most popular materials for this instrument. And for me, there are 3 main deciding factors: sound, aesthetic, and how it feels on your hands. Acrylic kalimbas are the softest of the 3. Hollow kalimbas are the loudest, while flatboards are just slightly louder than the acrylic kalimbas. Hollow kalimbas are best for outdoors, as acrylic kalimbas are near impossible to hear when there are a lot of background noise. The type of sound for acrylic kalimbas versus hollow kalimbas can be best compared to an unplugged electric guitar and an acoustic guitar. There is a certain kind of sound texture that you get from hollow kalimbas that you don't get from acrylic ones. However, for me, acrylic ones are the closest sounding to music boxes. While flatboard kalimbas have a similar sound to acrylic but with a deeper resonance. Aesthetic. As a kalimba player, visuals are important to me. How my kalimba looks can affect how much time I want to spend with it. If you're like me, your kalimba should inspire you to play and make you feel happy. I find acrylic kalimbas great whenever I shoot a video where I want to feature more of the background because its transparency helps with that. Hollow kalimbas feature really cool engravings that the other kinds of kalimbas do not have. Flatboard kalimbas look elegant and clean. Personally, I prefer minimalist-looking kalimbas. However, I do have a bias for cat-shaped kalimbas because they are just so cute. Before you settle on a material, there are some important factors you might need to consider. That is, the weight and the shape of the kalimba. Acrylic and flatboard kalimbas are heavy, and it can tire or strain your arms, especially on your wrist and palms after playing it for a while. So for beginners who will need a lot of time practicing, you might want to consider getting a hollow kalimba instead. Hollow kalimbas are also easy to carry around with you, so beginners can practice anywhere they can. Another thing that can affect your hands is the shape, especially for people with small hands. If you're like me with small hands, you might want to stay away from wide kalimbas or oddly shaped ones. I found it really hard for me to reach the center tines, and I tend to strain my hand whenever I play this kalimba because of the effort of trying to reach them. One thing to note is that some kalimbas can be slippery. If you aren't very good with your grip, you want to buy a shape that you can hold much easier. Accessories. Did you know that kalimbas have accessories? Accessories are great no matter how much playing experience you have. There are kalimbas that allow you to plug headphones in so you can hear yourself playing even when you're in a noisy place. There are also accessories to give the sound of the kalimba more texture, like chains. Not all kalimbas have hooks where you can place chains, so if you are interested in experimenting, this might be something you want to consider. Budget. So depending on the number of keys, kind of material, and accessories you want to buy, you can now narrow down your search and find kalimbas that best suit your budget. The most realistic estimate of how much someone should spend to get a decent kalimba is around $25 to $50. But acrylic kalimbas tend to be more expensive than hollow or flatboard kalimbas, while there are more cheap-end options for hollow ones. But be wary, because these cheap-end hollow kalimbas tend to be more prone to have dead tines, especially on the higher keys, and naturally have lower sound quality. To save you some time researching which kalimbas to buy, I have a couple of recommendations you might want to consider. I chose these kalimbas from the most popular brands and are more likely to be widely available in most locations around the world. I researched and watched people's reviews and listened to videos that feature them. I think it's also important to tell you that I wasn't paid to mention any of these kalimbas in this video, but I do own some kalimbas from some of the brands I will mention, and my opinions on the kalimba are based on my personal experience with them. So here are my kalimba recommendations under $50. Hollow kalimbas. Lingting LT K17Y with a price of $40. I chose this brand because of their reliable sound quality and is known for good resonance even on the higher keys. Weighing 1.94 pounds, it has a complete set of accessories with extra accompaniment chain and tassel keychain. Gecko K17 MBR with a price of $40. This is a decent kalimba that is widely available in most countries. Weighing 1.85 pounds, it has a complete set of accessories that allows you to play right away. Kokachin's kalimba with a price of $40. Based from my experience, it's one of the most beginner-friendly kalimbas because of how light it is. Even though it's light, it doesn't compromise the sound quality and its overall feel. Another unique thing about this kalimba is that it is made by a small family of musicians, and I love how they plant a tree with every purchase. Weighing only 0.6 pounds, it has a complete set of accessories with an extra kalimba stand. Flatboard kalimba. Pluru flatboard kalimba with a price of $50. It's a good quality kalimba that has a notable slanted shape that makes it comfortable to hold. Weighing 2.1 pounds, it comes with a complete set of accessories with an extra patch pickup for recording. Gecko K17 Cap kalimba with a price of $30. It's a decent kalimba for its price and has an ergonomic shape good for longer use. Weighing 1.23 pounds, it comes with a complete set of accessories. Lingting LT K17A Kalimba with a price of $40. Based from my experience, this kalimba has incredible overall quality. The minimalistic design greatly appeals to me. The wood, the tines, and the packaging has a luxurious feel to it. Weighing 2.49 pounds, it comes with a complete set of accessories with extra accompaniment chain, tassel decoration, and a patch pickup for recording. Acrylic Kalimbas. Kimi 17 Key Bear Kalimba with a price of $33. An adorably shaped kalimba that is widely available in most countries. Weighing 1.90 pounds, it comes with a complete set of accessories that allows you to play right away. Trielf TF17C Kalimba with a price of $25. A cat-shaped kalimba that has a reliable sound quality. Weighing 1.87 pounds, it comes with a complete set of accessories that allows you to play right away. Nalo Cat Kalimba with a price of $35. This is the very first kalimba I have ever bought, and I instantly fell in love with its adorable shape. Based on my experience, it's very sturdy and feels very durable. Each tine resonates well, and the case it comes with does a really good job of keeping it protected. Weighing 2.2 pounds, it comes with a complete set of accessories that allows you to play right away. So that is it. I hope this video gave you an idea on how to choose which kalimba to buy. And if you're still having a hard time choosing, write down your questions in the comment section below and I'll try my best to answer them. Or if not, you might even get suggestions from other kalimba players as well. I hope you enjoyed this guide for buying a kalimba. Thank you for watching. I've had my kalimba for a while, maybe around 3 years now, and I'm very fortunate that they are still in an okay condition. From kalimbas ranging from a few dollars to more than $40. I'm hoping that I'll still be able to play them in the years to come. So here are 5 little steps I learned to keep my kalimbas from wearing down. Don't get your kalimbas wet or humid. Although there are different types of kalimbas, most are made of wood. So like all wooden instruments, kalimbas can be very sensitive to humidity and temperature. So you should avoid exposing your kalimba to extremely high or low humidity and temperature. Don't leave your kalimba outdoors where it can get rained on or exposed to direct sunlight, or in a vehicle where it gets too hot for a long period of time. Depending on the type of wood, the effects can range from your kalimba expanding, shrinking, warping, and even cracking. So if you find yourself in these extreme conditions, you can help your kalimba last longer by addressing the issues you observe. For example, I live in an extremely humid place, so I store my kalimbas in the driest area of the house I could find. I also bought an air purifying bag made of activated bamboo charcoal that acts as a dehumidifier to maintain relative humidity for my kalimbas. So don't worry if you're like me who lives in extreme conditions. A quick research online can do wonders to create a controllable environment for your kalimba. Not using a case. One of the things I love about the kalimba is probably how portable it is. I bring my kalimba outdoors a lot, and it's very easy to just stuff your kalimba in your bag among your other things. The problem with this is that our kalimbas are very delicate. They need something to protect it from scratches or having the tines misaligned. That's why a case is very important. You can use a hard case to protect it from impact, especially to the tines. Or if you don't have one, a drawstring bag can give a layer of protection to your kalimba. I found that acrylic kalimbas are more susceptible to scratches than wooden ones, and I got pretty sad when I saw some on mine. So if you're planning to bring your kalimba with you on a trip, remember to use a case. Using harsh chemicals to clean your kalimba. When cleaning your kalimba, it's best to avoid using alcohol or strong chemicals. I use alcohol to clean most of my things, so I was very tempted to use it to clean my kalimba. Rubbing alcohol can act as a solvent when it comes into contact with wood. Solvents are designed to liquefy wood finishes, including varnishes and stains. This means that it can strip away the upper layers of your kalimba. You should never use bleach on your metal tines as well. Using bleach on metals such as stainless steel will result in discoloration and corrosion. To clean your kalimba, just simply use a soft dry cloth to gently wipe down the surface and tines. If you need to remove any stubborn dirt, you can use a slightly damp cloth, but be sure to dry your kalimba thoroughly afterwards. Dropping your kalimba. Throughout the years, I confess that I have dropped my kalimba a few times. Accidentally, of course. And every single time, I'd have a mini heart attack. And it's because dropping your delicate kalimba can do irreversible damage. These damages can range from a few scratches to the body, some dents, having bent tines, or your kalimba being out of tune permanently. The most damage I got from dropping my kalimba was having the body chipped, which is probably a minor damage compared to the major ones I listed a while ago. I may be lucky for now, but I'm not planning on dropping my kalimba anytime soon to find out. So let's all be careful when handling our kalimbas. Playing with dirty hands. If you're like me who likes playing their kalimba at random times of the day, make sure you don't play with dirty hands. Always wipe off your kalimba after use, especially if your hands tend to sweat excessively. If you have sweaty palms, I highly recommend the acrylic kalimba for you. Since most kalimbas are made of wood, the dirt and moisture in our hands can easily wear down the instrument. So make sure to wipe off the kalimba often and keep the tines clean and dry to prevent rust from forming. So I hope you learned more about taking care of your kalimba today, and here's to playing our kalimba for many more years to come. See you next time.